There we go. Um, so today we're going to be demoing a couple things that we've been working on over the last month. This is our kind of monthly session to share what we've been working on, um, get feedback, surface any blockers, and really, I think to celebrate that we are still shipping and building things. So for today, I know we are kind of doing the portal launch of the first MVP. Can you guys hear me okay? My mic's doing something funny, I think. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sounds okay.
Okay, cool. And we can also talk about and do a demo quickly on the Housekeepers raid, which is wrapping up, and talk about refactory and maybe getting some other people into it. But the first thing is Portal demo. So let me just run through that. And first of all, huge props to everyone that helped on this. We were meeting basically every day for an hour a day, talking about these things with the goal of getting something shipped by the end of the month. I hope that it turned out okay, and it's not perfect. It's the first pass. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. I think it's a great surface for us to iterate on, and it's solving the problems that we were discussing. But asking Queen Rada who was involved, EC Wireless and me were in every single session, 17 of them. Aphilos, Tay-Kex, Tay, Sam, and Anupa. Shout out to Anupa for kind of kicking all this off. And then a lot of other people have showed up at other times. But yeah, props to you guys. Good job. Um, Everyone's contributed in some way, and we got something out the door. So let's look at an actual demo. If I got it up on a million different pages, which I probably do. Um, okay, so yeah, this is supposed to be the kind of live coordination layer of Raid Guild. It's trying to solve a problem of information asymmetry where new people interested in Raid Guild had no idea what we were doing, and really members had a hard time figuring out what was actively going on, especially inactive members that were trying to get involved again. So we wanted to just kind of set up a live look into what's happening in this kind of dashboard portal. So let me start on the main page. One of the cool things we kind of landed on was what the portal is and what Raid Guild is really, and a digital co-working space for builders. I think that line was cool because it highlights the community aspect and the coordination aspect of everyone that's in the group, but it also is a lot of shit gets done in a co-working space. That's where people build relationships. That's where people build raids to work with clients and find a talent pool. That's where people educate themselves and learn about what's going on in the space and stay up to date. And I think we try to do all those things. Right now, we're kicking off the How to Raid Guild, and we'll get into more of that in a little bit. That's our theme for the month. It's going to be full of a lot of awesome fireside chats, where really we want to know how not only us as Raid Guild members and builders in our space, in our AI and Web3 bubble, but how other people are adapting to the changing space of AI coming in, how they're using it, what tools they're using, where they think that it might go in the future. I think this is going to be super valuable for everyone, not only members, and not and really anyone who's interested in what's going on in the space right now. And it also gives us an opportunity to figure out what's happening outside of our bubble a little bit. Uh, this new is the kind of brief, comes out weekly, comes along with a little podcast for just a quick download of what's happening like right now. This is,
Deacon,
yeah.
just so you know, at least for me, you're not screen sharing or anything.
Oh, okay. Let me screen share because that would be helpful. Okay, so here's our featured element, how to raid guild. This is a thread actually. So all the things that are happening will be in this thread. We've created a lot of different surface areas for us to just find the data. We don't have any public sessions up next because we're in a current session and it just fell off. And I need to create another one. But this would highlight the next session. And actually, I guess, oh, you know what? There's a member only session, and because this is a public view, we can't see the round table session that comes up tomorrow. In this section, we have some blog posts. We've got some portal blog posts, one about horses in space, and there's a whole bunch of other blog posts. And then down here we have projects, and these are like currently active projects that we're working on. Now, the first thing we want people to do here is to join, and we want members to join, and we want other people that are curious and want to participate in the cohort to join. And it's pretty simple. It's a normal email kind of flow. But we also surface on this page some different funnels. Each of these funnels have their own content and their own URL, so they can be shared directly. This is really a tool for BizDev. And the BizDev can also edit the content on these pages through their own CMS interface and through the agent. That's one of the cool things about all of this is that it's all agent backed. It's powered by Queen Rada, which really, I think, over time will unlock a lot. Once you do log in, you have a little more, in your dashboard view, you have a little more of a control panel. You can see the member registry, project registry, sessions and modules and posts. We have the start on this idea of points because we thought that eventually reputation and engagement was going to be an important thing to try to incentivize and track. And so the very first slice of this, to use the Codex terminology, was a vibe check. You just check in daily, get your 5 points, give what your vibe is. The news brief on this page is a little more internal facing. So without exposing real client names or member names and stuff like that, it tries to talk about the actual projects we're working on. And here you can see the upcoming session now, the Raider Roundtable, which is a member-only table. There is distinctions available between an unauthenticated new user and a member, which is like a core member of Raid Guild. Yeah, it can host our posts, our blog posts, and it's a place for us to kind of add more content around the things we're doing and hopefully track things better and expose things better. The thing I wanted to show, which I did this morning, was some sessions. I imported an archive of a bunch of past sessions. So, we can look in here. A session was kind of our first MVP surface that we wanted to focus on, where you can attach files and summaries and transcripts. You can have comments. Our sessions are such a key part of what we do in Raid Guild, um, having that as the kind of like record of where everything flows through it uh, just fit really well, and it was a really interesting kind of thing that surfaced there. So we have old videos up here now, old transcripts and summaries. All of these, now can be used maybe to create more content now that we have the power of Queen Rada. One last thing, or two last things here: modules. This is a surface area. We wanted to have something where people could build on top of this, more tools and different ways to view things. Here's like our skill explorer. It's got members and their skills and their roles and how everything's kind of linked together in this knowledge graph. I think there's a lot we could do with this kind of discovery tool, even with projects and sessions and all that. And then the final thing here is I added a little feedback form because this is of early MVP. We want to capture all the bugs, capture all the UX problems. We still really have work to do around copy and UX and layout and design, but but functionally it's pretty much working, and I think it's a very powerful tool, and I hope that people can find some use out of it. Demo over. Oh. Well, one last thing there. You do have a notification settings here, and we can do. You have an inbox, and you can set if you want to receive emails or just get in uh, in app messages. You can edit that stuff. Cool. Demo over. Now that we're done with that. Lolo! Whoa, what's up, man?
Yo, how's it going?
Good, how you doing?
Good, good. I figured I'd join for a second.
Thanks for coming
See,
by.
see the demo.
Yeah, so we were just talking about the portal. Oh, one thing I didn't actually get to talk about, which is maybe the coolest part of the portal, is that because it's all powered by the agent, inside Discord, you can create, using natural language, you can say create a session for this time tomorrow about this. Or you can say, hey, what we were just talking about in this thread, create a blog post about it. And because it's all linked up through our agent, Queen Rada, in our Discord, we can do that super easy and automated, which is cool. Squirrel Seer, how you doing, man? Good to see you back too. How have you
Hey,
been?
yeah, that was a super cool demo. Good to see you, Deacon and Lolo. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Hope, yeah, just this is cool. I'm just thinking about all the ways that projects outside of Raid Guild could leverage this entire portal system for things like points programs or ambassador programs, or different type of, let's say, like growth initiatives for different communities to grow and track contributions and attribute value to people in a semi automated fashion. So I think the sky is the limit in terms of how this could be applied. Of course, starting small and growing from the perspective of just iterating over time and improving the layout and functionality. But
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing the demo.
Thanks, man, and I appreciate you for coming. Um, Here, I'll share the link. Everyone, if you haven't created an account yet, go create an account and at least get logged in. One other note on that, on how this could be used by other people. I started a railway template. It's running, but I haven't published it yet. And so maybe in the next few days, I'll have a one-click deploy. And it's getting to the point where any community could start having this as their kind of content management system and kick it off in different ways and explore and fork and see how other people use it. It also ties in really interestingly with agent workflows, so I think it could be cool to see how that works. And specifically for us, it would probably tie into our Prism Refactory, which is another project we've been working on, and maybe another demo we'll do in a little bit. But I don't know, anyone got any questions or feedback so far?
I'll just say for the recording, you all know this, but another reason to sign up for like a real concrete reason is the fireside stuff that's going on this week, this month.
Yes.
The cohort's going to be doing a bunch of different firesides, and the portal is going to be the place that you can follow along and see like outputs from those, and it'll be a cool way to get access to all of that cool content that should be coming.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, Sam. I mentioned it quickly in the demo, but I think it deserves some of its own time. So the rest of this month, we've kind of decided to do, it's almost a market research initiative, but also I think very educational. We want to see how different roles inside the guild is using AI, how they're adapting to AI, where they think AI is going in their field, and how it's changing their career. But we also want to reach outside of the guild and see how other professionals are using this stuff. So I'm setting up a session with an author and a professional podcaster, and also setting one up with a dentist. The way that people are using AI varies across different professions, but everyone is using it. And we can offer solutions around workflow automation if we know how people need it. So it's not only to understand and share information between different verticals, but for us to really understand the market and anyone who wants to listen in. Lolo, you would be a perfect one with your experiences with things with the state and how you've been building tools for that. So I think there's just a lot of interesting angles there.
Is there some place where we can collaborate on inviting people in to talk about that? I just have one person who I think might.
Yeah,
we're working on a how-to guide and stuff. So I think as early as Friday, some of this stuff will start coming out. But in the meantime, just talk to Deacon.
Yeah, and Squirrel, we'll pull you into the chat where we're working on. Yeah, we're putting together just kind of like a rough outline for a host script. And maybe some process around, okay, how do we coordinate around scheduling? How do we record and things like that? Because we really do want to get as much of this recorded as we can, because we can synthesize a lot of information from that.
Yeah, plus one. I might have some tools I can share about that too, just to offer input or insight.
EC talks about a dentist using GPT to pull out teeth. Yep. You're absolutely right. I pulled out the wrong tooth. That's on me. Oh, the great old Claude and Codex little quips they make. Cool. Well, I don't know. Phyllis, you got a chance to work with the CMS stuff. Was that working okay for you?
Yeah, I was able to basically mimic your commands and updated some of the copy.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, so it's a little restrictive right now, and you, as you see, like that you want to change layout or change content sections or whatever, we can do a little more rich text editing in that eventually. But it's very basic CMS currently, and that's for
Yeah,
all
I'm in
the
the
onboarding funnels. All right. Well, so the housekeepers, do we want to do a quick demo on that?
Yeah, I can do a little couple minutes.
Cool.
You all have seen this stuff, but for the recording. So this will be like a quick view of like what we did in a recent raid for Dow House. The raid guild was hired by Dow House to work on this. And I think the big story is just that this is work that came out of cohort experimentation directly, which is really cool. So like a few months ago, a bunch of people in here were playing with this idea of dark forest, like AI automated workflows for content creation. We kind of got the idea from that, along with a bunch of stuff we've been doing in the Super Prism ecosystem around like collaborative AI workflows, and pitched to Raid Guild or to Dow House this idea of building these AI assisted maintenance workflows. Dow House is like this old mature protocol. It's been around forever. There's fragmented repos, docs everywhere, big Discord, like big confusing system with, just a few contributors that really understood it all. And so we kind of pitched this project to get it kind of set up for potential future stewardship. We scoped it as like, we'd modernize the current active like main app. We document architecture around how to like maintain this thing, and do that like for facing like LLM facing documentation, so that these bots can maintain it better. The big meat of it was we set up this system that actually like takes in issues, triages them, codes them, puts in PRs, and it's all in this kind of human in the loop sort of workflow. We reduced a little of the operational surface area. So along with like these flows, we sort of made it easier to understand for humans what's going on in the whole system. And then we also like developed a bunch of SOPs, run books, materials for humans for how to like run this system and maintain the protocol in a pretty lightweight way. The bulk of it was this Super Prism refactoring instance we deployed, which I'll show you in a sec. And it connected kind of Discord, GitHub. It uses Codex. There's memory knowledge. So it uses this whole like Super Prism stack. So again, yeah, Dow House, a lot smaller maintenance service, like PRs are getting merged, stuff's happening, the system's more stable, and less people are required to be involved. Raid Guild, I think the big outcome for us here is that we sort of proved that this AI assisted kind of workflow maintenance tooling can work. We, proved that you can take stuff from cohort and turn that into paid work. We hardened some Super Prism software into something I think that could be sellable to other clients. And, kind of are working on now a bunch of material that's reusable for service offerings and case studies and stuff like that you'll start to see next week. So I'll just do a quick review of like the refactory product that we implemented and kind of what we did. This is it's a big system. It's got a lot of pieces, but at its core, it's like this this kind of workflow automation, and you'll see like you can open one of these, and this is just a change request. It came in, an agent triaged it, a human approved that triage. It went. This one's in the work stage, so once it needs to be, or the work's happening, I guess. The agent works on it. It goes into a PR. It can kind of go back and forth there with PR reviews in GitHub. It goes back into a review gate when it's ready. It merges and then can be closed. So that's like the base of like what we did here. But you'll see there's like lots of different workflows in here, lots of different change requests that have come through, and like, so this is kind of the base of the system, and then you can customize it for your like whatever client. So like Dowhouse, for instance, we built all of the GitHub integrations. We built a little task that cleans up old dead branches. We do a monthly security audit. So this is like a custom workflow that comes in. It actually just ran and created a bunch of like new change requests here. It just like checks the code base for security issues and writes change requests based on that. Humans can review it and then it goes through. We also like output a weekly change log into Discord. So it's really flexible, has all these custom like tasks and skills and workflows you can add. And it's just helping, Dowhouse run with more activity than more change requests it's had in a year. So that's that.
Super cool. Actually, I hadn't seen that workflow, how it creates a bunch of change requests after it runs. So that's really neat. It's like, because it's like self-improving the app, right? It's like, it's doing a report on a security audit, looking at current security issues in the space, and then just fixing itself, which is pretty cool. So that the Prism refactory, me and Sam and initially Vin were working on this, and now EC's helping some through housekeepers as the Super Prism R&D group. And I think probably within like a few weeks it's going to be in a good launch place. Right now we want to get some other people testing it and messing with it. We've got to implement it in Raid Guild completely, and it's doing all types of weird shit. And so people, and also we have some credits now. So if anyone wants to have their own instance of a Super Prism or get into the specific Raid Guild Queen Rada instance, then we can do that for members. And I'll do a quick demo of the Raid Guild instance of this, and then EC, we can hop over to you to do a demo as well. But let me share mine real quick. I think it's basically what Sam just shared, but just some more specific things to what we're doing. And then I want to queue up this idea that others can be using this. So here, we have our requests. One of the requests we had is our monthly share distro. This is a hall monitor steward task currently. And so this was just like a quick test to see if it could be automated. And it did it pretty well. It'll look through all of its memories and the Discord, the cookie jar, the DAO, all the things we've marked as like important, and figure out a report of who's been active, generate the TX bot or the transaction data body for an on-chain transaction, and then actually submit it as a DAO proposal, which is pretty cool that it was, and I was able to like set that whole workflow up pretty easy. We have a bunch of workflows here in Raid Guild. draft a blog post, more like a steered blog post if we wanted to do that. Our memory briefs, so on the portal page where we have the briefs. Here's the monthly share distro proposal, and we can see a little more about this. You can see that these are steps, and basically all this is, if you've done some agent stuff, are just skills. Each step is a skill, and we break it up so that it can be audited, it can be watched, and we can see who ran what, where it failed, how it can improve itself, things like that. And it can be shared. We want to be able to share this stuff and not lose it to someone's own local automation flows. We want these things to be able to be part of our business intelligence that moves forward with us, no matter who is actually running it. So yeah, you can see like the steps. This is the portal session recording. This is actually one that runs after a meeting and links up everything into portal through what we call hooks. And that's there's these different triggers for these as well. Queen Rada is sending extra posts, looking at things that maybe it's good to follow, looking at things that are good to reply to, creating reports around that kind of stuff on X. We've got a bunch of skills like Cookie Jar, DAOs, Hacker News, sanitizers to make sure that things that Queen Rada says in the public are okay. Remotion, that's like what generated that little video. She can take a summary from a demo like today and then just generate a little video, which is fun. The templates need some work still, and like it needs some TLC, but it's pretty cool. Banker, that might be some meta or some alpha, but no, nothing yet actually. But yeah, these triggers, we have like tasks. Tasks is the idea like run at this time of day every other day. Do some workflow, right? Skills are like, how it knows how to do different things. Workflows are more that combination of tasks that make it into an automation, something that can be repeatable and audited. And hooks is, when it's things are coming back from an outside source and we want to trigger it, not necessarily from our internal task runner, but something external. We want to trigger a workflow. So that's like, for example, when this meeting ends, we create we take the recording of it, we summarize it, and we add things to portal and to our memory. And that's this memory system. And now, I'm probably getting way too in the weeds, but the memory system is just tracking all the different things, all the places we say are important, keeping record, creating digests, creating summaries, pulling out objectives that it thinks are things like some of the threads that seem to continue coming up, and have extra entries into our memories and knowledge. We have two lanes. Memory is our kind of active, what's happening right now. Our chats thing, a lot of noise, but still important, our sessions. And then knowledge, the idea of knowledge is more this like reusable, evergreen content, handbooks and guides and operating procedures and things like that.
Quick aside on that, one workflow or way that I use this a lot now is like, so through here, I click on a couple of those files on the left and say, I want to chat about this. There's a little checkbox. And then I open that chat window and it kind of has those in context. And then I might like have it generate some sort of proposal or summary based on that. And then I just from here, from this chat, I say, okay, that's a new knowledge item. I want
Yeah.
upload that as a markdown into the knowledge, and then that's there for everyone, and you can use that going forward.
Yeah. I was using this the other day, and I hadn't played with it since you added it, but it's really cool. Just like I picked our meeting where we were talking about the fireside chats, and then I said, make a script for us after what we talked about. And it did that. So it's pretty neat. 4,807 artifacts already. So it does balloon up pretty fast. Cool. So on the call to action there is, if you want to play with this stuff, then let us know so we can get you set up. This idea of the Raid Guild instance, so it has the Raid Guild kind of global memory. One thing that's been kind of surfacing is maybe it makes sense for different stewards to have their own instance, which is kind of their own siloed memory, but linked into the global memory for whatever they need. But having, this may be more important, like something where we don't want any public channels. Maybe it's internal budgeting stuff. Then it may have its own kind of thing, and it promotes stuff into the global knowledge every once in a while. But internally, it can work on whatever it wants in a more of a sandboxed kind of situation, creating its own workflows, like go calculate the budget every day, anytime a raid finishes or whatever. Squirrel says down to clown. Also, maybe people just want to get into the Raid Guild instance, and that's simple. The nice thing about this whole setup is it's fully open source, one-click deploys. You own the infrastructure. It's not hosted anywhere else. It's kind of a wrapper around Codex. And Codex, you can swap out the models. You don't even have to use OpenAI. You could use open source models or a local model, even if you wanted to pay the extra for that. So it's very flexible. You would just grab the template and launch it, and it's all hosted for you. It's pretty neat. All right, so let's move on, unless anyone has any comments on that.
I'll raise my hand briefly. I think this is super cool, and there's a pretty vast expanse of sort of use cases and ways it can be applied. I'm always thinking with my growth hat on, like, how can organizations use this for their own purposes? So I think, as you guys iterate and refine, if there's any desire to get in front of, let's say, different trading groups or different organizations that could leverage this for their own sort of use case, once you have documentation polished and everything. And I'm saying very just openly, I almost want to contribute to documentation if you guys need support there, or really anything. So yeah, I'll keep my eyes on the Discord here and see how I can help out.
Heck yeah!
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Squirrel. And thank you for the feedback.
In terms of those introductions, I'd love to actually start the conversation and see what they might want to do, and how they might want to use it. And that sounds like a really interesting opportunity, and curious about the details.
Hell yeah. Yeah, growth guy meet biz dev guy.
Hey!
Yeah, that's awesome. And also, Phyllis, I know with your biz dev agents, I think you could probably leverage this stuff. And so you may be one of the good first special instances of this.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, and like I said, it needs a little polish right now, but we're using it like crazy already, which I think is a good sign. It's working for stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So um, hopefully in the next week or two we'll have like really something that we can start like pumping out and shilling and getting other users in, or getting other people being able to use it.
One quick note, I think one thing that would be helpful maybe is like just doing like a hacking session on the side for people who want to learn how to stand this up on their own. Because then if I for instance knew how to set this up, I would be willing to like go to different organizations and pitch it to them as a tool, and then also be willing to like set it up on their behalf as sort of like a white glove service. Even, just to start out and see an experiment if that's something people would ever want.
I think there's
think
a
what you're
real
saying-
angle to that. Yeah, go ahead, Phyllis.
Sorry, I had some opinions on this. This sounds exactly like the beginning of the scaling that we've been talking about for cohorts. We've been talking for a while that we love Deacon and all the work, but we need to be able to decentralize from Deacon and scale out to more people. And the way that you're talking about it is exactly what has been discussed for this year so far.
That's beautiful. Good timing then.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of alignment. I mean, starting a relationship, even if it's through an open source package of tools and how to set it up, is one way to start a conversation, right? So they're looking for those ways to go from knowing about each other to knowing each other is what we're looking for on the biz dev side, I would think.
From the refractory side specifically to this point, like this is what I was talking about in the Dow House raid thing. It's totally repeatable. And to your point, Dow is like a white glove sort of situation. It's kind of at a state maturity wise where that is necessary probably. And so that's like a great opportunity for us to like be the consultants to understand the client's problems and implement this and really make it work customized perfectly for them. This is also like one of the new service offerings we're exploring in the agency jams that EC's been running. So really good stuff.
Word. Yeah, I'll try to join one of those too. I'm for context, I'm much more free now. I've been like trying to figure out what's next, but I'm now at the point where I'm like, I'm just gonna, hop in and do stuff. I've kind of been doing that for a different organization, but want to pivot my focus a little bit towards something that's longer term and feels better.
Awesome, doggy. Okay, well, we got 15 minutes left, and EC also has a demo he would like to share. You ready?
Yeah, and forewarning, it's like maybe in the realm of more of a shill than a demo because it's less techy. But just it's kind of like a teaser, I guess, of stuff. But
Good.
this is basically just sharing a bit of a revamp of Raid Guild Forge, which started last year as kind of like a gaming venture inside Raid Guild, oriented towards like Web3 games, of course, and even more specifically, the concept of autonomous worlds. So this is revamping it, giving it another kind of twist, and then like pushing it in this particular direction. So this is what I'm intending on like focusing on a decent amount for the next month or so. And throughout just like showing this really quickly, hoping to get like feedback on narrative stuff, and then call to action would be like, there's a stay up to date thing. If you want to see stuff that is planned to be published and updated for it, add your email there to get updates. But yeah, right now, mainly trying to just share like narrative stuff and see like what's interesting about it. Basically, the main thing is it's autonomous worlds for real machines, and kind of maybe an easier way to understand it is that it's where makerspace meets gaming. And so the future of Raid Guild Forge is basically um, making games that simulate real physics in a way where you could eventually turn these into real world makerspace kits. Um, and uh, on the page, if people want to check it out, you can see different blog posts like describing it.
I love
A
it.
quick teaser for the main thing I am planning on focusing for, like pushing this idea, is a game idea called Titan Racers. And this is basically a creator first sci-fi racing game where you create real world compatible mini carts. You can get a few more details here. So players assemble machines for actually, let's skip this. Basically, you're making little mini carts for a Titan orbital habitat. So working on finishing up the full concept document, and then we'll start building it. But that's the main thing I'm using to push this like game uh, idea, or this whole like Forge idea. And yeah, and then one final thing is outside of games, also planning on putting just physical like hardware DIY kits on here. So I made a voice controlled cooking companion kit from the last cohort, so that's on here. You can like check out the kit with X402 on base. You can pay for the kit. It's $1 for the kit, just to show the kind of future idea of licensing stuff that are built in games and remixing and whatnot. But planning on building more kits over the next couple months and putting them up here, and hopefully people are inspired by it, remix it, and maybe upload their own kits to sell and license and whatever. It's just a quick overview, and yeah, looking for feedback on any narrative stuff. And if you're interested, yeah, add your email, get updates in the future, and that's it.
This is awesome.
Heck yeah!
Yeah, I love it. The just another thing that I have to participate in now. Damn it! No, this is amazing though. This is like exactly the kind of things I like to do. So, on-chain, real-world robots playing games. I love it.
I think you see to have done a great job. Like visually, this is awesome. Like all the content you have and like the kind of blog posts to follow developments, like it's really super well thought out. And even just like the XO2 payments and all of that, like you already have, it seems fully like birthed. So nice work.
One thing, I guess to show the portal again, the portal can be a great blog platform for your sites too. And I think it would be powerful for Raid Guild spinoffs to be keeping the data where we can see it and leverage it. And so the portal is all API first, agent first, and if you wanted to host content on the portal and pull it with the API, you could. Or if you want to mirror it over there, that's fine too, although not needed. And I don't know. It's another interesting use case, I think, to think about like membership and signups and these kind of different scopes. But that's probably outside of portal right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all the blogs are just going to like Arweave, and it's just like a markdown file. So it should be pretty easy, I assume, to just like make a workflow that like,
Yeah.
Syncs that up really, really quickly.
Perfect. Yeah, that's all we'd need as a workflow then if it's all public. All right. Super cool. I love the final wild card to add a little diversity here. All right. Well, unless someone else has anything they want to demo today, then I think we're good. I just want to say, It's always demo day is always one of my favorite days because I just like seeing that people are building stuff. We have so much talent and creativity in our rooms, and I feel pretty lucky to be involved in a group like this. So, you know, just everyone's keeping up, and it's pretty cool to see.
I love it.
I love you, Deacon.
All right.
I guess from me, I just want to
I
say
love it.
thanks for continuing to push the guild forward. I think it's been a interesting thing for me to, you know, be outside of the guild, very much not involved in the past, I don't even know, like probably 2.5 years, but still be able to come back here and be welcome to at least like share my ideas and listen in. So that's been awesome. And then I think like from the standpoint of possibly being able to help out without putting the cart before the horse, like, yeah, if there's anything, you know, I think like the meetings that you guys are doing for the, specifically for, gosh, I'm forgetting names, but refactory and essentially the kind of like sprints you guys are running to figure out how to grow the cohort, and yeah, refocus initiatives there. Like, I would love to brainstorm there and try to help out.
Heck yeah, and we appreciate you coming back in after going out and getting some more experience in different ways. Yeah, you know, the portal, we want to have it like servicing current projects. There is a current project which is we're talking about the narrative and service offerings of the agency and how it's all tied together with the cohort and all the things. And so that would be a good one for you to hop into or get the download on. And I think we need to create it as a portal project right now. But yeah, awesome. All right, guys.
Peace out.
Peace out. Smash the soundboard.
Yeah.
Put that cookie down, motherfucker, now!
Good morning. I love it.